Hello, everyone. Today is Sunday, July 2nd, 2023 at 12:18 p.m. Somebody on YouTube asked me why I don't look in the camera. And the first person who mentioned something was my twin sister a couple of years ago, almost 3 years ago. And so even the online gang stalkers be like, well, Candy doesn't look into the camera because she's lying. Well, if you thought that somebody lies in all their videos, if you think that I lie in all my videos, then why you been stalking and watching me for years? But the reason why I end up like a lot of the times, this is to explain for anybody. They got my ear itching. So I'm explaining that the reason why, if I end up not looking in the camera or looking away, a lot of the times it's not on purpose. And a lot of the times I don't even realize or aware that I'm doing it. So I don't even realize or I'm not aware that I'm looking away from, or that I'm not looking in the camera. But a lot of times dealing with my mind wandering off into a daydream, without me realizing it, they say it stems from childhood trauma. These loud trucks. So it's like from childhood trauma, my my mind used to wander off into a daydream a lot of the time without me realizing it. And then also I have an anxiety disorder. I have OCD and generalized anxiety disorder, and I suffer depression, and I have Tourette's, all because of being abused in foster care and growing up in a cult. And so, and some people might consider that MK Ultra dissociation or something like that. And also another reason why I may end up, if my mind might wander off, and with my OCD and having heavy, unwanted, intrusive thoughts, and with the Tourette's and forced speech and being targeted or whatever, I think even with, just the Tourette's, like I find myself so fixated on trying to fight out the unwanted, intrusive thoughts. And I try to it's very hard, especially when I'm sleep deprived, like severely sleep deprived. And I end up like with being severely sleep deprived or not getting enough sleep or getting no sleep. Sometimes I might actually, end up being more prone to accidentally blurting out or verbalizing my unwanted, intrusive thoughts. And people who don't understand or whatever, I might end up losing support or losing friends, or, well, I don't have any anyway, but if I might end up losing, if anybody who end up losing respect for me, because if I accidentally said something bizarre and strange. And so, like, whenever I'm awake, it's a constant 24/7 battle, in my head, trying to fight out and battle out just heavy, unwanted, intrusive thoughts all day, every day. That I have been having to live with this since I was in elementary school. I guess the first time I ever really had unwanted, intrusive thoughts was in third grade, but I didn't really have OCD symptoms until like the compulsions until maybe later elementary school or sometime in middle school. But I think I was diagnosed with the Tourette's in 7th grade, and I think I was diagnosed with OCD in like 8th grade or something. So but I think the Tourette's symptoms or tics or whatever been having since 6th grade, around the time of taking Prozac and having a nose surgery and stuff like that. I mean, I think, and then some people say that if you're microchipped, in which I don't know for sure if I am. They say if I'm not a target individual, be microchipped, but I don't have any verification on whether or not I'm microchipped. But they say that being microchipped could be another reason for being hypersensitive. But I also had 2 strokes when I was 5 years old, and and I didn't even realize, looking away in order to think very heavy on what I need to say, or if I might look up or I might look away or something. But if I'm walking around and looking down, people be like, well, that's why people take advantage of you, because you don't walk around with your head up high with confidence. You walk around with your head down and lack confidence. Oh, that's what make you easy target for people to take advantage of you. I used to be told stuff like that when I was in high school, but no, that doesn't give people a right to take advantage and exploit you. Even if my head wasn't down or held, I mean, if I had been through so much trauma and abuse, and everybody wants to say, well, so many people have been through worse than you. But some people say that what I went through was described as satanic ritual abuse. So if somebody going through, or somebody went through, and they say gang stalking by itself or narcissistic abuse, either one of those, or sometimes gang stalking is narcissistic abuse, or sometimes narcissistic abuse is gang stalking. So I've heard people say that gang stalking is satanic ritual abuse, MK Ultra mind control, and they say narcissistic abuse is MK Ultra and mind control too. So, I mean, I guess me looking away from the camera, I don't know if that's considered dissociation or something like that, from the mind control or the traumas and stuff. And a lot of times I don't even be aware that I'm doing it. But see here, my Tourette's trying to, Tourette's tics will blink in my eyes a lot of times if I'm having certain tics or whatever, and people would say something about it, then a lot of times I don't even really realize that I'm ticking. Or if I accidentally blurt out something with the Tourette's outburst, I may not even realize until somebody get mad and yell at me and say, oh, you curse somebody out or whatever. I'm like, oh, well, I didn't even, and if they'll say, oh, that's no excuse. But, so you get extra abuse suffering Tourette's, and like I discussed, the other day, if I might end up getting more abuse if people don't, and then if they would try to, abusive narcissistic gang stalking bullies will be like, well, nobody cares about your disability, or, you using, come on, man. If they'll say that nobody cares about your Tourette's, and, nobody cares about your Tourette's and stuff like that, or there's no excuse, so you're using that as an excuse. But it's like, and I always been nervous behind the camera, and a lot of times of my anxiety is really high. But when I first got on TikTok, and before they started allowing 10 minutes, if they would just give me 3 minutes, and then me being so focused on being scared the camera might shut off, that's when I'm intently looking into the camera. But 10 minutes, I guess I end up being like, not even realizing I'm looking away. Or if I'm on YouTube and got a longer video, then a lot of times I might be in like 40 minutes talking and not even realize I didn't look into the camera. So I hope this answers y'all question. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in a while.